Howdy guys, and welcome to Broke Left Stick Games' first impressions of the Destiny 2's beta mission. Let's get right into class selection. There's Titan, Hunter, and Warlock. I played all of these substantially in Destiny 1, and for this mission I decided to go with the Warlock. At the beginning, we're reintroduced to the characters Cade B, Ikora, and Zavala. All of these characters were in Destiny 1, and I think this was Bungie trying to tell us that these characters' plot lines and stories from Destiny 1 will be continued in Destiny 2. Destiny 1 really lacked story progression. The other thing it really lacked was learning curve progression. Until the Taken King, where it felt fleshed out enough to say, you're not fighting in just strikes and missions anymore, and there is some lore and backstory that is making you a better gamer, and also fleshing out the world of Destiny. When I came into the first mission, Homecoming, and the Tower Watch, where our objective is to defend the home, and the mission we're doing today, I was greeted to a lot of superior lighting effects, from embers rolling off the sides of walls, to fire dripping from the ceiling, to door sheen. All these kind of things caught my eye, and I think they did that on purpose. Like the monitor here, looking at it, I thought it was going to be a data pad, which it wasn't. But there was also a corridor of smoke behind that rubble over there, and that caught my eye before I was even ready to progress through it. We're reintroduced to characters from Destiny 1. I don't really have a lot to say from my playthrough of this due to them not making much changes cosmetically to these creatures. Cade gives us a helping hand through doors. This is another just subtle nod to say that these characters will be more involved in this story. They let me into the section of the armory to pick out guns, and I was kind of stoked about this, but I was looking around the room like, oh, what kind of guns can I pick up? And it was only one. I could pick up only one. So it was an exotic, don't get me wrong, but I just thought, you have a room full of guns. Let me pick up multiple guns, especially in a beta. We're back outside again, and as you can see, the weather effects are quite beautiful. They did a lot of things with things in the background to draw our attention to the next point of action. And you can see we come up to more reintroduced characters. We're making our way towards Zavala. One thing I really want to point out to them, and I hope they fix in the updates to the beta, is I had to get into a shield up here and couldn't even hear him. They had made no attention to it, that we had to get there quickly. So I'm moseying my way across this field, which is just totally fine. But when I get up to him, I actually die. And I've talked to a lot of friends, and I talked to a lot of streamers, and they're saying that the exact same thing happened to them in the first mission, Homecoming. And it's something that hopefully Bungie will correct. I'll make my way up here, and then I'll slowly just pass away, and then we'll respawn, of course. These assaults repelled were, in Destiny 1, reserved for when the ghosts would be researching something or looking for something new. So I like that Bungie took the time to vary that kind of dynamic and keep it a little bit more fresh, instead of it just being a constant regurgitation. Though I know this is just the first mission, but it's still nice to see. So I did about 3 assault waves, and now we're moving towards Ikora and trying to leave the plaza and find the speaker. I will say that there's a really cool little touch nod here to just a lonesome little guy brooming. It was a nice effect. He's just trying to wipe up the blood, and he can't fix it. As you can see, I got kind of weak and throwing a grenade after Ikora already just mopped shop, and we move right past her. She does something. I don't want to give that too much away, but she does something with a ship. Again, we get to see more outdoor weather effects, which are absolutely beautiful, which kind of makes me feel sad when I have to get back into a ship, because it just felt bland, though the lighting was nice, and the fighting's a little bit more frenetic because of how much is going on and how tight the space is. And this came up to my first point where I actually had to look at the mini-map, because there was a computer terminal, and then behind me there was a laser door, and I just could not figure out for the life of me which one it was by just looking. So you'll find me referring to the map to actually see, okay, I have to do my first go section where I'm downloading schematics or whatever, and this is where I thought, okay, here's another attack repel. But it doesn't happen, and I'm happy to say that didn't happen, because it's something that really bothered me about Destiny 1 that they didn't do with Destiny 2. And you'll see me actually spend a little bit more time looking before I decide, oh wow, they actually didn't do that for once, and I head back out. And we're moving towards the first boss. Now this is Posh, the Searing Will, and this is a real like tunnel fight. You can use a lot of range. There was a lot of legionaries coming up on me once in a while, and I would hide in and out of just a tunnel. It wasn't too difficult of a fight, really laid back. I like that they had this progression with bosses to find that learning curve. Very lacking in Destiny 1 was a learning curve. You would go on a mission and you would wipe it out. Several missions. It wasn't until the Taken King where they were finally found that level of learning curve that you felt that you could move to a raid. There were several jumping situations and so forth. As I said about Posh, quite easy fight, just had to move back and forth. We are back outside, and this is probably my favorite boss. This is the second boss in the first mission. This is Braun, the Urgent Blade, and what was cool about this fight was there's a lot going on in the background. You can see that the traveler's being assaulted and attacked while you're fighting on the ship across the way. And I really like these outside battles. I hope there is a lot more of these ship-style battles, which is something I liked at the end of the Taken King DLC, which was really a cool, outdoorish-esque fight and quite challenging too. Another thing I'd like to say about the Destiny 2 beta, this mission in particular, is the level of difficulty I felt was increasingly higher than Destiny 1. I found myself a lot of times really close on health in just this first stage, which I wonder if this is something that Bungie will enforce in Destiny 2, if overall to be a more difficult game. I come up on my first superhero, which is a pretty cool design. It's the pretty much sword-wielding Crota, swiping. I thought I was going to take this boss out with it, so it felt a little less than super, but it was still okay in the long run. This fight's more open, more all over the place, far more easier than the Posh fight, though it was difficult because of the amount of damage they were doing. Now this section here that we're coming up to, it shows off the first sniper shot kind of area with the size, and I don't know if I'm saying that right, if it's Fizz's size, whatever, and the incendiary here. And it was just a cool fight. I wanted to definitely show everybody. Get to see some particle effects of a person falling down there, which I thought was something cool, and I wish I would have slowed it down instead of letting it just run normally like I did when I cut it. In this hallway, we're moving towards our final boss of the Homecoming mission, which is Kreth, the Living Skyfire. And one thing I definitely want to say about this room in particular is this was the first inside zone that I really liked the design of. I love the lighting off the walls and so forth. One thing I will say about this boss is he was very agitated and he came up on me. Luckily, he was able to back up, but I thought I was going to die on several points of this little firefight. After I take him out, his shield relatively popped up rather simply, but after I take him out, I'm actually moving towards the final section before the ending of the Destiny 2 Homecoming mission. While I'm finishing up Kreth, I just want to take a few seconds to talk about the exotic I picked up earlier in the beta, the Risk Runner. It is an energy weapon. It was fine, it wasn't that great. It was a nice finisher when I got tired of putting up with the boss and so forth, but mostly I just switched between the two guns. I didn't really like the auto rifles. The secondary gun I liked. But I'm moving back through the hallway here, finishing up this way. And as you can see up ahead, there is, looks to be a turbine. This section was quite annoying for me, and everybody I played with on team chat or voice chat or party chat pretty much said the same thing. They were like, what is going on? What are we doing wrong? No one would tell each other because we're all being nice to each other and all that. So I really slowly finished this lane because I thought this was going to be a boss fight actually, and turned out to just be a thinking situation. This is the last section of the Homecoming mission. So while I work my way through this thinking man's puzzle, which I did fail at a couple times, and you can see in the edits that I did, I just want to talk to you about my overall impressions of the Homecoming mission for Destiny 2's beta. All in all, I think Destiny 2 is on the right track. The open environments were breathtaking. The weather effects were outstanding. The level of difficulty seems to be a lot higher than Destiny 1. There is a learning experience that is happening in this first mission that has taught me to be better progressively through, which is something that was severely lacking in Destiny 1. Earlier on in the video, I definitely pointed out those times where it was lacking compared to Destiny 2. The art and graphics were superb. Definitely the lighting above all. Overall, a lot of Destiny 1 is still retained in Destiny 2. I think my expectations going in were just a little bit too high. I was hoping for more engine tweaks and maybe a third-person mode like how Fallout has theirs to just be able to enjoy our upgraded character graphics and so forth like that. The combat overall was the same as Destiny 1. There isn't really too many mechanics that are added in so far, and we hope to have a lot more on this when we do more in September. And if you guys like what you see here, please like, subscribe, follow, and check the links below. We here at Broke Left Stick Games appreciate you guys stopping by, and we will see you soon. Thanks.